Ladies and gentlemen, President Trump has just called one of the Democrats' biggest bluffs, and so right now, their entire radically progressive narrative is coming crashing down. You see, yesterday afternoon, the Trump administration brought the infamous Kilmar Abrego Garcia back into the United States for the sole and exclusive purpose of publicly exposing the Democrats' disgusting anti-American agenda. Now, as many of you know, over the last couple of months, the Democrats have completely hitched their wagon to the likes of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, an illegal alien MS-13 gang member, demanding that President Trump bring him back into the United States after having deported him back to his own country of El Salvador. In fact, as many of you will remember, a sitting Democratic senator as well as numerous Democratic House representatives actually flew all the way down to El Salvador to try to break this guy out of prison. They're literally insane. But perhaps the worst part is that they've been actively trying to lie to the American public about this guy's MS-13 gang member affiliation. In fact, they've actually tried to push the narrative that this guy was just some humble Maryland dad randomly caught up in the Trump administration's evil anti-immigrant agenda. But now, let's be honest here. Every single person that has been following this story, that isn't a left-wing propagandist that is, acknowledges that this guy is an MS-13 gang member. In fact, here's a little reminder. Not one, but two immigration judges in 2019 confirmed that he's an MS-13 gang member. The Department of Homeland Security has confirmed that he's an MS-13 gang member. The government of El Salvador, his home country, has confirmed that he is in fact an MS-13 gang member, and even his own wife in 2021 confirmed in a protective order that she filed against him that he is an MS-13 gang member. And by the way, his wife filed that protective order because Kilmar Abrego Garcia was abusing her. Go figure. But still, despite all of that, for months now, the Democrats have been denying reality and publicly defending this guy. But now, folks, this is where today's story gets absolutely wild, because this is where President Trump's master plan comes into play. You see, like I said earlier, President Trump actually hauled this guy back up to the United States, put him in front of a grand jury, and unsealed his indictment, officially publicly releasing his entire criminal record for everyone to see. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I want you all to take a look at this criminal record so you can see just exactly what the Democrats have been trying to keep hidden from you. But first, I do want to say real quick that if you guys enjoy the daily news updates, please consider subscribing to the channel because it really does help a ton. But okay, check this out.
The grand jury found that over the past 9 years, Abrego Garcia has played a significant role in an alien smuggling ring. They found this was his full-time job, not a contractor. He was a smuggler of humans and children and women. He made over 100 trips, the grand jury found, smuggling people throughout our country, MS-13 members, violent gang terrorist organization members throughout our country. Thousands of illegal aliens were smuggled. This is especially disturbing because Abrego Garcia is also alleged with transporting minor children. The defendant traded the innocence of minor children for profit. There are even more disturbing facts that the grand jury uncovered. It is alleged this defendant is part of the same smuggling ring responsible for the death of more than 50 migrants in 2021 after the tractor trailer overturned in Mexico. This is part of that same ring. The defendant abused undocumented alien females, according to co-conspirators, who were under his control while transporting them throughout our country. This defendant trafficked firearms and narcotics throughout our country on multiple occasions. They were using vehicles, SUVs, with added seats in the back, floors that had been ripped out, guns, narcotics, children, women, MS-13 members. That is what the grand jury found.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, this is the guy that the Democrats have been tirelessly defending for the last 3 months. The truth is, the unsealing of Kilmar Garcia's indictment has just unleashed a wave of transparency that the Democrats absolutely did not want the public to see. As Attorney General Pam Bondi said, what we all now know is that on top of being an MS-13 gang member and illegal alien, Kilmar Abrego Garcia has been a key member of a decade-long human trafficking operation moving illegal aliens from the U.S.-Mexico border all the way up into Maryland. And so, ladies and gentlemen, here's the real genius behind President Trump's master plan that no one else really seems to be reporting on. By bringing Kilmar Abrego Garcia back to the United States and giving the Democrats exactly what they wanted, President Trump has completely called their bluff. By putting Kilmar Abrego Garcia in front of a grand jury here in the United States, his entire criminal record has now been publicly released, ultimately showcasing just exactly what type of person the Democrats have spent the last 3 months defending. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this is why right this very moment, the Democrats are absolutely panicking. Now that every single American in the country knows the truth, that the Democrats have spent the last 3 months lying to the country and defending a human trafficking MS-13 gang member illegal alien, the Democrats are doing every single thing they can to try to rewrite history. And if you don't believe me, take a look at this.
She especially focused on the idea that Democrats defended Kilmar Abrego Garcia, even though he, of course, is alleged to have committed these crimes. Do you think that Democrats risk politically playing into the president's hands by focusing on this case?
First of all, I don't know of a single Democrat who defended him.
He was falsely arrested and removed from the country. So now they're making up all this stuff about MS-13. Or, let's say he was responsible for the January 6th attack and he coordinated the assault on 140 police officers. They're making up things against a guy who's never been prosecuted, much less convicted of anything criminal.
So, folks, really, this entire situation is just absolutely pathetic for the Democrats. The Democratic Party just got caught spending 3 months defending one of the worst human beings imaginable, and now that they've been caught, they're just flat out lying, saying that they never defended him at all. Ladies and gentlemen, it's situations like this that have caused the complete and total collapse in support for the Democratic Party. As you all know, right now, the Democrats have an embarrassingly low 21% national approval rating, and it's because every single American in the country with half a brain knows that the Democrats couldn't care less about actual legitimate American citizens. At this point, it's become abundantly clear that all they care about is taking care of the tens of millions of illegal aliens that they've allowed to come flooding into the country. Seriously, that is their number one prerogative. But so, folks, in summary, this entire situation has just been yet another one of President Trump's masterfully executed plans to expose the Democrats' radically progressive, anti-American agenda. And so, ladies and gentlemen, as I like to say, this is what it looks like to put America first. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we wrap up, I do want to say real quick that we officially have a Morse News Twitter page as well as a Morse News Facebook page. So if you use either of those platforms, please go down below and drop a follow in order to get breaking news updates that relate to everything we talk about here in the YouTube videos. But everyone, that is going to be a wrap for today's video, so please go down below and drop a comment. Let me know what you think about all of this. Please like the video while you're down there, and like I said earlier, please consider subscribing to the channel because it really does help a ton. Thank you all very much for tuning in today, and of course, as always, stay safe.